In this video, we're going to be talking through the sprint qualifying session. Absolutely a very fascinating session on a technical track. Some unexpected results as well. So I'm just going to pinpoint and run you through some of the things and some of the insights and details that I saw. I've got them on my phone as always. And if you're interested in what my thoughts are, definitely keep watching. Okay, the first point, let's talk about the track because it is a very technical track and that forms the basis for the whole qualifying session. So the track starts with an uphill hairpin, one of the 7 technical corners, straight into a set of S's, the second of the 7 technical corners, downhill braking into the third hairpin, third technical corner, and then you've got one more decreasing radius corner towards the back end of the track. The track looks amazing. It's very bumpy, like I say. It's got a very big track width as well. So that lends itself to be able to open up the option and do tight lines as well. So you might see that in both the hairpins actually and the decreasing radius corner itself as well. So keep that in mind as you go through the weekend, because when it comes to tire saving, tire management, you probably want to start to run some tighter lines in some of the decreasing radius corners and into the hairpins as well, just so you're not dragging the outside front tire longer than what it needs to be. Don't the cars look great on the braking into turn 12 down the end of the straight? There's so much room and they just look amazing. So thoroughly enjoyed the session. I do like SQ, the whole SQ sprint qualifying altogether, because it reminds me of one lap qualifying. And those of you guys that know me well, you've been listening to my channel for a while. I've been saying for a while, we need to bring one lap qualifying in and give a point for that one lap qualifying, because that's just going to explode Formula One in my opinion, because we're going to see drivers under pressure. We're going to see mistakes. We're going to see like how much do you push and do you want that point versus what's a mistake going to do? What's a lockup going to cost you? We saw that with Piastri out in Q1. We saw that with Albon making a mistake out in Q1 as well. And now these guys are buried in the grid and we're going to watch them fight through. So it's that we're looking for in the sport, right? The drivers under pressure, cars out of position, and points awarded for those who are brave and can execute. It's exactly what we want to see. So I'd love to see that be integrated. It's pretty much sprint qualifying 1, really, because you don't have much practice time before sprint quali 1. So we're seeing that in a way, we're seeing a little bit of one lap qualifying in there, given that you've only got one set of mediums. So let's talk about Alex and Oscar's mistakes. Same corner, but 2 totally different mistakes. I thought Oscar was a bit unlucky. He actually hooked up the corner not too bad. I didn't see too much understeer. I think he just carried too much speed into the corner and then obviously ran out of road. So there's a limit as to how much speed you can carry through there without the car washing out. Obviously, if you take it flat, you're going to need more road. Yeah, and if you bring that in 1 downshift, you're going to need less road, maybe 2 downshifts, less road again. So he's just carried too much speed and the whole car has just washed outside. So I thought that was unlucky. The car was stable. He didn't really make a mistake other than he carried a lot of speed into that corner. Alex's mistake, less so unlucky, but still unlucky. When he turned into this corner, he's got more front grip than what he expected. And so he was just expecting to turn in and it carried the trajectory that it wanted. The car's actually dialed in. The front has actually pointed exactly where he wanted it to go. And he's caught the inside orange curb. Once he's hit that, it's obviously lifted the car slightly and he's done the spin and run off thereafter. So that was unlucky. It's very unlucky because when you get more grip than you expect, I mean, it's a good situation. You would know next time around that, you know, that's how much grip there is and you can turn in a bit later into that corner. But when you get less grip than you expect, that's the normal situation, right? But to get more grip than you expect and make a mistake is very unlucky. So both those guys are unlucky. But again, that's, you know, they don't know the grip in SQ1. That's what we're looking for. That's what I want to see more of. We'll bring it back to one lap qualifying once again. All right, let's talk about SQ2. On my notes here, I've got Checo Perez, again, no pace. So we saw him do an amazing job in Baku. Like put that car where he did. He was fighting for the win pretty much up to the first round of pit stops in Baku. He was beating Max. And then in Singapore, he's been caned. And Austin, he's been caned as well. Both of those are more high downforce. And both tracks have more grip in them than Baku. So it's, if I was working with Checo, it would be more of an understanding thing to say, why are you so good in low grip low downforce, like being very progressive with throttle, progressive with braking. And what do we need to do to up those inputs when the downforce is on? You know, you've got to get your teeth out and drive in a different way. So disappointing to see Checo out in SQ2. I think that's not a good result. It's bad result on top of bad result on top of bad result for Checo. I'm just waiting for, you know, the news basically as for when his seat and time is up. SQ2 as well, a good effort from Lawson. I think he definitely could have made it through. He did have the pace. We saw a mistake at turn 1. So he's just got a little bit of understeer turn 1. And when he goes to get on the throttle to push him wide, he's made a mistake. He was only 2 or 3 tenths off Yuki on a big technical track. That's not too bad for literally like one practice session. That's pretty good. And he made a mistake as well. So happy to see that with Lawson. I think the pace is there. Obviously, if he could just clean up turn 1, he would have been in as well. So that was a good effort, and I've jotted that down on my notes as well. All right, SQ3, Hamilton's first run, absolutely terrible. The car looked like a boat. So it was fair of him to come on the radio and say, like, what the hell is going on? When that happens, like, he was getting understeering corners and then oversteering other corners, and the car just couldn't deal with the bumps. But then he did get another crack, right? And he unfortunately got the yellow with Colapinto. Now, here's a lesson in how to manage the yellow flags, and exactly what I was saying with what happened to Lando in Baku, saying, hang on, he's approaching yellow flags that then become greens and all he had to do was show a lift. Exactly what Lewis Hamilton has done here. He's done that beautifully, and I believe he's unlucky into turn 12. He's come down this straight between turn 11 and turn 12. On the right, he's seen the flashing yellow. It's clear as day for everyone, but Lewis does exactly what I've been saying that Lando should have done. Firstly, keep his foot in it until he gets to the yellow, right? So then Lewis gets to the yellow, it changes green, and I'm not sure if Lewis identifies this, but he does a lift at the 150. He lift and coasts between the 150 and the 100, and then he brakes slightly after the 100, which you can do in a lift and coast technique situation. You can brake after your usual braking point. The problem was it just caught the car out. It's something he's obviously never done before, like a lift and coast into a qualifying lap. And then the rear has just let go on the entry to turn 12. So super unlucky. If he had have made it through there, I don't think he would have lost any or a tiny, tiny fraction of lap time for making it through a yellow and keeping his lap by doing the lift and being 4 tenths up. So he's actually done not much wrong. This was very good qualifying management from Lewis. Again, another driver who was just unlucky with the situation, and he did his best, right? It's not like he just backed out of it and then came to the pen and said, yeah, I got a yellow. Like, he tried to make it work. So good judgment there from Lewis. We need to talk about Max, obviously, a stellar performance. Obviously, everything I said about that T-tray and that bib thing being not important holds true. I think it's got more to do now with what have Red Bull done to that car in the past 4 weeks. Has that taken a step forward? And what about all of the other teams as well? Ferrari are getting in there, Mercedes were getting in there. And McLaren obviously underperformed a little bit. So the picture we had in Singapore, I think things have changed now. Not only is it a totally different track and so on, but things have changed. Like, the cars have changed. We're not talking about the same Formula One anymore. Fast forward 4 weeks, the order may have shifted slightly. So number one, have Red Bull sorted it out? And this is not to take away from Max's lap. He's done a good job in Singapore with a shit car. He's done a good job in Austin here with what looks like a better car. But we do see the separation again. Like, he's still caning Checo by 9 or 10 spots on the grid. So maybe this is just all Max. And why should we be surprised? He's the 3-time world champion. So a stunning lap there by Max. And a good job by Franco Colapinto as well in the other Williams. And you see with the mistake with Alex, everyone keeps saying Alex is so great. Well, now he's under a little bit of pressure. You know, Franco's starting to get the upper hand, which is amazing even for me to say. So definitely a lot of respect for what Franco's doing in that car. Everyone likes him. He's such a cool guy. He's funny. He's relaxed. So it's good to see him in SQ3 as well. The McLarens, what do they need to do and what can we expect moving into the sprint race and the qualifying? I think that with the experience of another day and having the opportunity to do things a little bit differently and maybe Lewis getting the opportunity to compete for his lap as well, I think they're going to put pressure on Max for that final race pole position. I'm expecting that grid and order to shake up a little bit compared to what we see here, just because some of the teams can actually complete and learn for their runs. Whether Red Bull have more space and more margin to be able to be able to step forward again and keep that pole is what I'm going to be looking out for. In terms of the sprint race, honestly, I'm not sure. We'll see if Oscar can come through. We'll see if Alex can come through. Hamilton can come through. I think it's going to be hard to follow. Always when you've got a set of S's on a track, that aero wash just damages the tires a lot. So I think it will be tricky to pass. But I'm expecting that in the qualifying for the main race, we're going to see a more competitive grid. So I look forward to catching up with you then. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. Let me know your thoughts and questions in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next one.